Welcome to Mediumship Moments with psychic medium Kim Durham. Join her as she shares her personal journey with mediumship, connects with your loved ones, and discusses topics dealing with spirituality.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mediumship Moments. I am your host, Kim Durham, second-gen psychic medium, and I am so delighted to have another special guest with me today, and she can introduce herself.
You can't get rid of me.
That's true. I've tried. God knows I've tried.
Hi, it's Aubrey.
Third generation psychic medium in the works. And I thought today we'd do something fun. You know, there's so many ways that you can tap into your intuition. There's tools. And one of which is the use of tarot. Now, I say tarot, but, tomato, tomato. But anyway, tarot cards. And it's a way of, a tool to do just that. People are like, well, how do you know things psychically when they sit in front of me? And I see pictures. And that's my tool. I'm very visual because of my photography background. I have used tarot cards. A friend of mine out in Arizona, love you to pieces, Tina, uses them quite a bit. And I remember taking her class, sitting in with her class, and we were teaching people how to use them. And it was interesting. I put the card down, and I just started seeing things psychically. She's like, have you used tarot for card before? And I'm like, oh, never. And it's not that I'm, it just is a tool. And I remember my mom using tarot card. People would ask me, do you do tarot like your mom? And I was like, really? She did tarot? Like, I remember seeing the box there, a couple of boxes. And so it's interesting that I will say us in the field use different things at different times, right? You may be feeling that that's a way to lessen the anxiety of somebody sitting in front of you. Some people are more visual, and it's a good way. It's a good, shall I say, starter to unlock this psychic ability or your intuition. How do you find using them, Aubrey?
So I'm in my new journey with tarot. I've always been fascinated by it. I didn't really understand how they quite worked. So I stayed away. I wasn't really feeling it. And in the last couple of years, I've grown accustomed to
embraced it.
Yes, I've embraced it. I own 4 decks now.
Wow, she owns more than I do.
Yeah, I own a couple decks.
And now, so let's talk about the history of it.
Yes.
Give everybody an idea. How did it start?
Sure. So there is some talk about where it originated from.
There's a dispute.
There is a dispute.
Yeah, I came across that as well.
Right. So a lot of people think Egypt. I side more with Italy in Europe in the 14th, 15th century. Italy, I believe the rough terminology, tarocchi. It was indicative more.
She a little pasta fazool.
Little paisan, little gabagool.
Yeah.
So a little bit more indicative of the Italian. Now, the Italians used tarot as a way. It was actually seen more for the aristocrats, the fancies as a form of entertainment. Quickly, though, it became more of a divination where people used it as
later on,
yes.
So like you said, in Italy, they talked about it, the aristocrats. There was the 4 Italian cards. One was the cups, the swords, the batons, and the cons. And they remain so to this day. And so, as you'd said, they were used for some fun. And again, there was the dispute about where they came from. But they talk about it being a game of trick taking. Which I always thought was interesting. And, to this day, they associate tarot with fortune telling or the occult gained currency. Only until the 19th century when the whole negative,
It was taboo for a while. Very taboo.
Yeah.
People didn't understand it, me included. And it wasn't until you start learning a little bit more about it on the back end and you actually start using them.
Yeah.
They're not just for your coffee table. Like you really do need to channel and try set up your space. So if you will.
Yeah. So they help people, what I understand, looking into this, because you prompted the to talk about this, which I love. Just because I've never done it, didn't experience it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist, or it can't be something of positivity that I could incorporate. I do have several decks, and shout out to John Holland, my love, for giving me. Bestowing my first set with me. So people, like we said, self-discovery, guidance, and exploration into the subconscious, which
Mhm.
I thought was pretty interesting. But the fun and entertainment, was a way of engaging at a dinner party. But also they talk about it being a way to tap into your intuition and connecting with your spirit guides. So give me an idea of what that process of a reading.
Yeah, so there's a lot of cards, about 56, if you're counting. So a lot of possibilities. Now, depending on what part of your journey you're on for tarot, low and slow. We're not expecting a 6 card pull. There's different types. You can just do one. You feel inclined to do one. Personally, for me, I like to do 3 for past, present, and future.
Okay.
That's something that I like to do. I haven't really ventured in further from 3. I've done 6, but that gets a little bit more in depth, and sometimes that can cross for me. And I'm very I don't like gray area.
That would be the Virgo.
It's just
side of
a
her.
slat
Just
sad. I like
Well,
concise.
here's the question I have, and I'm not trying to put you on but when they talked about the 4 segments of it, the cups, the swords, the batons,
So it's wands, swords, pentacles, and cups.
okay, is
Yes.
the iteration now.
Yes, that's yes.
Can you break down what each of those mean?
Sure. Wands, symbolic of proactivity, action attributed to fire. Swords, knights with swords, and intellectual, where we have pentacles focused on earth. So
Okay.
a lot of it, so tarot does dive into the elements,
Okay.
numerology as well. I mean, you can really, if you want to get real in depth, tarot it's a process depending on what you feel comfortable with. For me, I'm a very visual person. I like to visualize, so I like to see the cards. Some people like what number card this is. Is that indicative to my
Yes.
whatever I'm seeking?
Okay.
Right. And then for cups, with water, get it? Cups typically represents our feelings flowing. What are our feelings are flowing in the moment. So when they're broken down like that, and typically when you do purchase tarot, I recommend definitely getting one that has a book or a guidebook that goes along with it. So when you do pull a card, go intuition, like look at the card and, well, what does this card signify to me? Is there a sword? Is there a cup? What's on the card?
Okay.
What interpretation am I getting from this? Once you dive in and you feel like you have a good self intuition about it, look it up. What does it mean? What is the significance to that card in that moment?
And see if it matches.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you let your intuition lead you.
I guide it by intuition for me personally. Everybody's different. And that's what I'm trying to get at is like, there is no one way with tarot. I think a lot of people think, oh, you just pull a card and you look at it. No, there's more to that goes into it.
Okay.
Is it connected to earth, wind, fire? Is it connected to the star signs? Is it major arcana?
Okay.
Which is, there's a lot. There's
Yeah,
a lot that goes into it.
And I was talking to John because John Holland, a colleague and dear friend, is coming out with, he gifted me, and I love you to pieces for it, John, the tarot cards, but very small, travel ones, and they're in tins. It's lovely. I know. And
I love that.
I know. And his cards, whether he uses cards for mediumship as a way to direct using your spirit guides or that part of the psychic or intuition.
Also a warm up, if you're struggling intuitively and you need to put your hands on something.
Okay.
You talk a lot about your clairaudience, your clairauspicious. Like I attribute tarot to psychometry. For me personally.
Okay.
I put my hands.
For the person who's sitting in front of you or yourself?
A little bit of both. I've done my own readings. I've done readings for other people.
Okay.
For And it definitely helps me channel for sure.
Okay. So when they talked about, and I get that, people, my mom used, this is, a Bible, and people are going to think, well, that's sacrilegious. Well, I told the story way back when that, a dear friend of hers was brought up on witchcraft charges because of being an intuitive. And my mom was like, well,
And that was in the 70s.
this was.
This was not
late
like
70s, early 80s. This is not like, this is not in the 1700s. And when you sat with my mom, she'd have you say a prayer or take a moment to just be quiet and then open up the Bible randomly. And my mom would not read the Bible, but she would psychically see things in that verse and then tell. And, Joan was, 10, 20, 30 years later of predictions. I can't tell you how many clients that were Jones that sat with me and have gone, I still have the paper.
They're still telling you today.
The names of the people she married, how many children, what they would do in life, some conflicts and moments of, pivots in their life. So again, this is a way that you're finding to be able to do that. Now I have a question. They talk about the pattern that they come out.
Inverse.
Yeah.
Yes. So when you pull a card, if a card is facing towards you upright, and before I say this, a lot of people think, oh, is it positive or negative? Everyone wants to know is it positive, because if it's inverse, it has the opposite meaning of the card.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
Now that doesn't mean your world's falling apart, people. You gotta just, take it with your own interpretation. Set an intention before you can't just pull a card. Set your intentions, shuffle your cards, pull your cards, but set an intention what you want to get out of the cards. Same thing that you do every day when you sit with people, when you do your events, you have people meditate.
Yes.
It's the same. It's the same thing.
All right.
You always want to set an intention. What are you looking out of it? You're not just pulling a card just to pull a card. What is the basis? What is the intention behind it?
Now, another thing that came up, I appreciate that. Another thing came up, they talked about the spread of like whether you do it, whether the cards are laid out in a cross or in a column. Like
I said, I do a 3-card pull.
Okay.
So I read from left to right.
Okay.
So past, present is in the middle.
Okay.
Futures to my right.
Okay.
I do that solely too because I'm also dominant. I'm dominant on my right side. So moving forward, I like to be.
Okay.
And this is something that it took me a little bit to figure out what I wanted.
Okay.
I did start with the 1-card pull, 1-card draw,
There we go.
It's just, I'm scared, a little intimidating. I didn't know. I had no idea. I come from a different background with this, not that it was taboo in our family. My mom gave me a tarot card reading.
Oh, tell me about that.
Yeah, she, it was a very long time ago. So I'm not going to sit here and say I remember the cards that were pulled, but I do remember her doing a 3-card pull.
Really?
Yeah. And we were sitting in her office and I was just messing around in her office. I think she had some time in between clients. I was bugging her as I do best. And she's like, come here. She gave me the look. I don't mess with the look.
Whatever. Was one eyebrow up?
That didn't happen yet.
Okay. Because she's on point with that.
When the eyebrow went up, I was in trouble. But when she gave me the whole come here nod, I was like, all right, all right, Joan, whatever you want. Sat in there and and this is the thing with Joan, she just did things. There was no explanation.
No.
It was just like, you're going to be in this moment and we're just going to do this together. And she had such a way with that. And I love it to this at ease. Yeah, it was like
no setup.
No, zero communication. Zero. So I sit in the chair and she just, the drawer comes out from the desk.
I love the drawer.
And we know the drawer. And she just plops a deck of cards. I'm thinking we're going to play like Go Fish. I was very young.
Okay.
I was very young. I'm thinking we're playing a card game. She pulls out and she just slides the cards towards me and she tells me to hold them.
Okay.
And I did. She told me to shuffle. Did a really bad job. And that's another thing too. People, not to cut it off, but people do shuffle cards. And sometimes when they shuffle cards, whatever cards fall out, that is another indicative of people use those cards. That is the sign from the spirits that's the card that's meant to be.
Wow.
So I didn't drop any cards that day, but that is also another tool that people use. They just manic shuffle. And they'll just do not a manic, that's a strong word, but they do like a hard shuffle and the cards that fall out, are
Are the
assumed
ones to
to.
be read.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, my mom made me shuffle the cards. I pulled 3 cards. They were beautiful. They were brown. I remember what they looked like. And the card that I pulled was this beautiful woman with brown hair. I want to say the goddess card. I
Yeah.
know that's coming to me. And she just looked at me and she let me pull the card. I pulled my own cards and she goes, "What do you think these mean?" And that was what she did. She always tested me,
She would say, "Tell me more, Kimmy." Like, yes.
whether she slid a picture across the table. Who is this person? Are they with us or not? Like those were the tests that she would do. And she did exactly the same thing with the tarot. And I think it's very interesting. It took me a long time. I always had that memory, but I never did anything about it. And I wonder why. I don't know if I was like, it wasn't the medium in the moment that I wanted.
Right, right.
Mediumship moments. It was
Yeah,
not the
hello.
medium in the moment.
Thanks for
Yeah.
throwing that in
I
there.
did a little plug for you. You're welcome. But
Be a little
uh,
something extra in your envelope at the end of the week.
but I was thanks. I was just intrigued by it. And it wasn't until, like I said, a few
Yeah.
years ago that I really started to like dive in. I remember when we went to Salem, I had to get a new deck.
Yes, you did.
I sure did. We went to a specific place.
Yes,
I was
we
like,
did.
"Yeah."
She had a mission.
I Googled it and we went, no. But now I have such an appreciation. Like I said, when we talked about it, it does definitely was taboo. And a lot of it people attribute it to gypsies.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
hate to say that. Travelers,
Yeah.
but
It's on the rise, though, from what I see.
yes.
And you do see a lot more, I'll say, mainstream stores carrying them.
I'm Barnes & Noble. You can walk right into Barnes & Noble. There's like 5 shelves dedicated to,
Wow.
RuPaul's Drag Race deck cards,
Oh, I
or
love that.
there's
How much
different
fun is that?
themes. I mean, they're beautiful. And what I will say to this, if you are on this journey, if you want to go get a deck of cards, I know there is a lore behind it. Most people believe that you are supposed to be gifted tarot. Somebody who has already dealt with tarot, if they want to gift you tarot, that is indicative of what you are supposed to do. That's what I've been.
Oh.
But we all have adult money. We can get our own. So you can walk into a store, a local store. I say support local. That's just me.
It's
but
true. I love that.
I also whatever deck speaks to you, hold them.
Okay.
Listen, if you feel something, if you feel a connection, not just a pretty picture on the front, maybe that's all it takes, But I would say take some time. I have 4 decks for a reason. I didn't just go out and just get random ones. I was either gifted them or I purchased them because I felt a connection.
Okay. So when you talk about using them, and they all have meanings, each of those cards, and again, it comes with a little, but those are the 4 basic premise. Did we cover all of those?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
And, you talked about, how they work and what's the intention, set the, how to prepare for, meditate before it, set an intention.
Each card has its own astrology sign, element sign, themes. I mean, you could really go in deep. And that's why I'm saying start with a 1 card draw,
Is there any way you should shuffle them? Like, I know we talked about but
No, there's no, sometimes people break them up into 3 parts and stack them. Some people do the hand shuffle, the good old, we're playing poker tonight, boys, kind of shuffle. Just be careful because tarot cards are a little bit bigger. I don't know, like if you have the travel size, you got to be gentle.
It's
be
very funny you
nice.
say that, because when I was cutting them and, the croupier inside of me is like, okay, we're going to split them this way. And that didn't work so much.
No, be gentle with your cards. But yeah, there are different ways to, it's again, it is all about feeling and intuition, what feels right in the moment.
And so when we look at a deck of cards, it's a 78 card structure from what I understand, right? There's standard tarot, 22 major arcana cards.
Arcana, yes.
And 56 minor.
Mm-hmm.
Minor arcana are further divided into 4 suits, which is what we talked about.
Yep.
What is a major arcana, right? That's what you were talking about, the themes of human life, love, death, change, acceptance, spirituality. Okay. And then the minor arcana is those are more considered to be emotions or conflict.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
And it's as I looked through them and the different ones, like I said, I've used them, I would say sparingly. It's a tool, and I intend to incorporate it in my class just for smiles and giggles. And I say that lovingly, to just use different prompts or different tools to be able to tap into your intuition.
Yeah.
So do you want to maybe maybe we do a little reading here.
Are the roles reversed? I
I
dare
don't
say
know.
they are.
Okay, I'm on the other side
Look
of the
at
table.
me. Look at me with a deck of cards right
Okay.
in front of you.
All righty.
We love
So
it. We love it. We love it. So for the sake of time, we're going to do a 1-card draw.
are we?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do a 1 card.
We'll talk about scheduling for more later.
You take that though?
Go on my website,
Yeah,
kimdorm.com. So we're going to do a 1-card draw. We're going to keep this simple. Again, for the sake of time, and also, it is a lot. I don't deep diving. So if you want to dive into it, like I said, start low and slow. But yeah, so I'm gonna pull from this, and then I'm just gonna get a little bit of a feeling and intuition, and then
Do I shuffle or do you shuffle?
I'm gonna pass these to you.
Okay.
We're just
Okay.
gonna.
Okay. Now, do I set an intention now? What do I?
You can set an intention.
Do I say it out loud?
No, keep it to yourself.
Okay. Okay. So we're trying to shuffle those big cards that we talked about. And this is where I'm.
Don't be creepy now.
I know.
There's no money at stake.
It's going to be like.
So as we flip this card, it is a 6 of Swords facing up towards her.
Yeah. Oh my. So okay, got it.
Okay. So it's a good card.
Is it?
Yeah. Out of all the choices, you did good. You did good. Are you ready?
Yes. Fire away.
Okay. So for those who don't know, 6 of Swords, it is the astrological sign of Aquarius. A little airy, a little flowy.
Stop it.
That is the misconception. Aquarius is not a water sign. It is, in fact, an air sign. Element of air. The theme of the 6 of Swords is growth and transition.
Oh, hey girl, hey.
Would you like me to dive into that?
I would love.
Okay. All right. So, for the sake of 6 of cards, it's restored at a time of transition or transformation. From this card, I am sensing you're in a little bit of a realignment. You may be, I don't want to say changing jobs.
Am I getting the pink slip?
She's not going anywhere, folks. But a little relocating or doing a journey of some kind.
Uh-huh.
Maybe Gettysburg. I don't know. Manifesting that now.
Okay.
So with the 6 of Swords, everybody's like, oh, swords, they're tough. They're sharp. They're something, there might be some turbulence in this transition.
Okay.
So accept help.
Oh.
Accept the help.
All right.
I know you like to be a little bit of a
lone wolf.
Independent woman.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So I will say if there's help being provided, accept it.
All right.
There's better things that await for you once you do accept this help.
Okay.
It is going to improve your life.
Nice.
Yeah. Because it is not, since it's upright, like I said, healing, transition, new beginnings.
Yes.
Moving away from the difficulties.
Okay.
And that's where that help comes in. Positive change.
Okay.
We're feeling, it is time, I have to tell you, to leave behind things that no longer serve you and your purpose to greater peace and clarity.
Ooh. Wow.
Hey.
Okay.
Yes.
And she has no idea what I thought about.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, if you'd like to share, you're more than welcome to. But so that is like the all in all of 6 of Swords is transition.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'll share a little because I can't share too much. But it makes sense. The change, I am a newlywed. So there's a change within my life personally and also professionally. I'm moving in a different direction with my career, as some of you may know. And that's taking on some challenges. And how I used to do things before, because, I'm, back in my OR days, it's good to be AR in the OR, we would say. Structure was important, right? We did the same thing at the same time to get the same out. There was less, you can't say you're 10-ish sponges, you had to have 10. Or if that was the first number you counted. So in this point of my life, it's going with, it's that is allowing other people to maybe set up that structure, that I'm not the person leading it, and having the the strength to know that having other people come in and do things that I'm not, I'm all about you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. But this new career path and change is new, and it just patience and excitement and transformation. So it definitely resonates. Definitely.
Did I do good, Mom?
I give you.
Did I done good?
You done good. You
Cool.
done good. Well, I really appreciate you talking about Tara and how you use it. I mean, like we all, my mom used something different to tap in psychically. I use something different tapping into psychic. And it's back and forth. Like my mom would go in flow, and the same thing with me. And who knows, maybe I start to incorporate Tara into my own practice. But if you choose to do so, pick up a card, one that speaks to you, like you said, Aubrey, and it resonates. Let's share a mediumship moment. Do we have one about Mama? Well, you just did, kind of.
Yeah, I think for a mediumship moment in regards to my mom,
Yeah.
I think for me personally, she always had a way to make mediumship fun, whether that's, have fun in the moment. Tarot or tapping into your psychic ability or your intuition doesn't have to be serious all the time. It can be these little brain teasers. It can be these little fun things coming at it with a sense of positivity, good intent.
Yes.
I feel like you're going to manifest a lot more in that regards. And that's something that my mama always taught me was doesn't matter. Like, yes, was this her profession? Yes, it was. But she always found a moment to have fun with it and to have fun with it with the people in her circle, in her inner circle, and never forget that. And that's something that I always take away from her.
Very true. Very true. And I appreciate you sharing that. So, as I often say, keep chatting with your angels because they can hear you.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time for another episode of Mediumship Moments. If you enjoyed this episode of Kim's podcast, check her out on Instagram and TikTok at Kim Dorm Medium.